the continuation of SLM Part 1. We'll have remaining 5 sample problems in solving depreciation using the straight line method or SLM. So for problem 6, a broadcasting equipment costing 100,000 pesos has an estimated life of 10 years with a salvage value of 10,000 pesos at the end of the period. We need to compute its book value after 7 years. So for the remaining problems, we will not be writing the given anymore. We'll just proceed directly with its solutions. Okay, so for problem number 6, okay, for this problem, we are asked to find the book value of the broadcasting equipment after 7 years. Okay, so let's underline the question just to emphasize it. And we are asked to find the book value after 7 years. So in order to find the book value of the said broadcasting equipment, we first need to solve its annual depreciation or the depreciation value every year. So using the formula D is equal to C sub O minus C sub L all over L. And then substituting its given, we have 100,000 minus 10,000 all over 10. Or, it's 90,000 divided by 10. We have the annual depreciation value of 9,000 pesos. Meaning the broadcasting equipment will depreciate by 9,000 pesos every year. After solving this, we can now proceed with the next step, which is to solve the total depreciation at the end of 7 years. So if the broadcasting equipment is depreciating 9,000 per year, what will be the total depreciation after 7 years? So to solve this, the formula is just simply D times N, or are computed 9,000 pesos multiplied by 7 years. So, the total depreciation at the end of 7 years is 63,000 pesos. And then lastly, we can now solve for the book value after 7 years. So, the book value, once again, is equal to the initial cost of the equipment minus the total depreciation or the total deduction after n years. So that will be 100,000 pesos minus 63,000 pesos. After calculating, your final answer should be 37,000 pesos. Meaning to say, the broadcasting equipment will have a book value of 37,000 pesos after 7 years. Okay, so let's proceed with the next sample problem or problem number 7. A bulldozer has an initial cost of 1 million pesos. Its salvage value after 10 years is 100,000 pesos. As a percentage of the initial cost, what is the depreciation rate of the equipment? So just like the earlier problem from our part 1 video, this problem just need some analyzing. So, hindi lang siya formula-based, but we need to understand what is asked on the problem. So this time we were asked to find the depreciation rate. So there is no exact formula for that, but later on you'll find how to solve this. So let's first solve for the depreciation value per year of the bulldozer. So once again, we have D is equal to C sub 0 minus C sub L all over L. We have the initial cost of 1 million pesos minus the salvage value of 100,000 pesos all over its useful life na 10 years. So the value of the annual depreciation is 90,000 pesos. And then, the problem says to compute the depreciation rate as a percentage of the initial cost. Meaning, we could solve this by using ratio or percentage formula. So, anong ibig sabihin nun? We just need to compare the depreciation value that we have computed with the given initial cost. So ratio and percentage just simply imply division. Therefore, the solution for this problem is just D over C sub O. So compare the depreciation na 90,000 pesos over the initial cost or the given 1 million pesos. So using your calculator, you should get the final answer, which is 0.09 in decimal, or in percent we have 9%. So the depreciation rate of the equipment is 9%. So next is problem number 8. A data server is purchased for 240,000 pesos. The salvage value in 18 years is 24,000 pesos. What is the depreciation in the first 3 years? So this is a simple problem. We were just asked to find the depreciation in the first 3 years. So first things first, to solve the annual depreciation, or the small letter D. So we have 240,000 pesos, or the initial cost, minus the salvage value of 24,000 pesos divided by the lifetime, or 18 years. So the data server annual depreciation will amount to 9,000 pesos. And then we can now proceed with solving the depreciation in the first 3 years. So we can solve for capital letter D since we have our small letter d. And the depreciation after 3 years can be computed as D sub 3 is equal to D multiplied by N. Or simply, we have our computed 9,000 pesos times 3 years. So the final answer will be 27,000 pesos. The data server will depreciate a total amount of 27,000 pesos in the first 3 years. So next, We have problem 9. A heavy-duty construction equipment costing 230,000 pesos has an estimated life of 8 years with a book value of 23,000 pesos at the end of the period. Compute its book value after 4 years. So for this problem, we were asked to solve for the book value. So solving for the book value, let's first find the annual depreciation or the small letter d. We have the formula d is equal to c sub 0 minus c sub l all over l. Substituting with the given, we have 230,000 minus 23,000 all over 8. So the depreciation of the construction equipment per year will be 25,875 pesos. So upon having the value of its depreciation per year, we can now solve with the total depreciation after 4 years, or our D sub 4. So the capital letter D implies total depreciation. We will use the formula D sub 4 is equal to D multiplied by N. So that will be equal to 25,875, our computed value earlier, multiplied by 4 years. So the total depreciation after 4 years will amount to 103,500 pesos. And lastly, we can now solve for the book value after 4 years, or our C sub 4. So to solve this, we will just need to subtract the initial cost by the total depreciation. So that's C sub 0 minus D sub 4, or 230,000 pesos minus our computed value na 103,500 pesos. So finally, the answer will be 126,500 pesos. So the book value of the heavy-duty construction equipment after 4 years will be 126,500 pesos. So we'll have our last problem for straight line method. And we have our problem number 10. A hydraulic press costing 88,000 pesos has an estimated life of 23 years with a book value of 8,000 pesos at the end of the period. The problem asks us to compute the depreciation per year. So this one is very simple. We just need to find the small letter d. So d is equal to c sub 0 minus c sub l all over l. The given initial cost is 88,000 pesos minus the given salvage value of 8,000 pesos all over the estimated life, which is 23 years. So using your calculator, you should be able to find the final answer, which is 3,478 pesos and 26 centavos. So the hydraulic press will have a depreciation value of 3,478 pesos and 26 centavos. Salvage value of 24,000 pesos